2025 is here, and people are forecasting that this will be the biggest bull market we have ever seen. From the administration in office, the amount of different policies that are bullish for crypto coming into play, as well as the 4-year cycle lining up for this to be the major year. And as far as a bull market, probably the most explosive that we have seen ever in cryptocurrency. And I'm going to go over in this video, not the market as of today, but I am going to give you guys my ultimate 2025 portfolio. We're going to go through between gaming, memes, AI, RWA, and even stocks. I have some allocation for crypto within the stock market. We're going to go over all of this and why I'm choosing each of these narratives to be a pivotal part of the 2025 bull run and which projects you should allocate to. This won't be a one size fits all. I'm a very risk on investor. You may be not wanting to be involved in as many projects, but at the end of the day, I think this can give you a landscape and a forecast for how to structure your portfolio in 2025. Let's dive into it, guys. Like the video down below. If you are new to the channel as well, subscribe to the channel. We're coming out with videos every single day and every week here on In the Game. We, took a little bit of a break for the holidays, but we are back in action and expect frequent content for the duration of the bull market. So like and subscribe down below. As well, shout out to all of our sponsors here on In the Game. We have Ledger, FOMO, Moontropica, Medieval Empires. We have Funtico, as well as all of our exchange partners down below. And I want to give a big shout out today to Medieval Empires. Obviously, blockchain strategy games, in my opinion, are pretty undervalued. And when we're taking a look across the space, there's not many that are going with that strategy style, and especially with that medieval feel. And Medieval Empires is capturing that, as they say, the adventurous blockchain strategy game. And you build, explore, and conquer, and you have different opportunities in this world to not only, strategize and build your lands and build out your world, but you can also earn inside of this ecosystem. When we take a look here, if we go to the Medieval Empires Twitter, they do weekly tournaments with, I think it's 25,000 MEE rewards pool available for the top 200 players. We also have their loyalty program. Season 2 is live right now. So if you guys aren't already involved in this ecosystem, drop down below and check out Medieval Empires. The one thing I love is they're building with Immutable, Polygon. They're also associated with Beam. So they're really tied in with a lot of these top tier ecosystems across blockchain gaming. Like I mentioned, blockchain strategy games I feel like are undervalued. So check out Medieval Empires now. The link down below in the description to check it out now. Now let's jump into the portfolio for 2025. It's crazy, guys. We're already here, 2025. This year flew by, and what a year for crypto. Obviously, we saw so much bullish activity. Trump's back in office. He's pushing a lot of pro-crypto policy. We're seeing a lot of pro-crypto legislators and people in the Senate and Congress. It's a great time to be involved in crypto. And now is the time, especially as I'm speaking, going into 2025, the market is down a little bit. So you have an opportunity to potentially structure out your portfolio heading into the next leg up in 2025. And we all know the drill. If you're new to cryptocurrency, what usually happens is the market operates on 4-year cycles. And 2025 would be the peak of the years of this 4-year cycle from 2022, 23, 24, 25. We are projecting 2025 to be one of the biggest that we have ever seen in crypto. So right now is the best time to just take a look at your portfolio. Are you in some garbage projects? Are you in too many projects? Do you want to add more projects? You want exposure to a new narrative? We all know the narratives in the space, they move so fast, right? From L1s, L2s, meme coins, AI, gaming, there's a lot to keep up with. So this portfolio I'm going to give you today is weighted across, I think it's 4 different sectors. Yeah, 4 different sectors, I believe it is. And for me, I'm heavy into gaming, but maybe this is not going to be a one-size-fits-all portfolio. Maybe you are more bullish on AI or meme coins. You can allocate that appropriately, but I'm going to go over my reasoning for every single position and the amount I'm allocating into this video. And like I said, I'm a very risk-on investor. So to me, I am going to be heavy as far as there's going to be some projects that have some downside but have super high upside. But I do think the ones I'm allocating the heaviest into are very solid foundations for my 2025 portfolio. Let's start with the main niche here on this channel, which is gaming. Look, I think blockchain gaming has, number one, been undervalued for the last 4 years. And even since the 2021 bull run, when crap projects were running and no one really had product, now we actually have great products across the space. We have Off the Grid, we have Shatterline, we have stuff like MapleStory, we have Echelon Prime and their parallel ecosystem. There's a lot of good stuff going on across the space right now. So I am allocating heavy into gaming with the expectation that Infinigods could cause a bull run when their token goes live. With tokens like Off the Grid, their gunzilla token, with a Shatterline token, with Faraway. There's a lot of different things and catalysts throughout 2025 that I think can trigger the gaming markets. And the way we're going to go through this so that we're not here for an hour talking about my portfolio, my ultimate portfolio for 2025. I'm going to go in percentages. So all the 5%, 3%, 2%, all at one time, and we'll go over the logic behind those. And the last thing I want to say is, obviously, I have seed invested / private invested, pre-market, pre-TGE invested into over 100 projects. So those projects, some of them will be in here, the ones I have long-term holds on and conviction. But for the most part, I am not including my seed private round investments in this because I just think that most of those I'm not holding long term. I'm looking to profit off of 99% of those at the end of the day. And while I do think the ones I've kept in my portfolio do have upside, and I do have quite a few in here. I think there's like 6 of the projects that I've private invested into that I'm holding long term. But just for a little bit of TLDR, I will not be including all of the projects that I've seed invested into because I don't hold those in a longer term portfolio. Now let's jump into it. Our 5% allocations for gaming projects. Now, if we look through the entire portfolio, I have allocated 44% of my portfolio into gaming. But when you look across, even in AI, in memes, in chains, and L1s, my highest allocated bags are 5%. 5% of my total portfolio amount I am allocating into these select projects. So just for reference, these are up there with my L1 bets and my chain bets. And I'm not including Bitcoin in this portfolio. This is an ultimate altcoin portfolio. If you're wondering where Bitcoin is, it is not going to be involved in this altcoin portfolio. So my 5% gaming projects, we have Beam, Superverse, and Prime. I think these 3 tokens over the course of 2024 have proven to be the absolute top tier coins in the gaming market. When you look at Beam, their node sale, they just raised like $70 million or something crazy on their recent node sale. And we can go to the watch list here and just take a look at these valuations. For example, we can scroll down here to Beam at $1.2 billion. I wouldn't be surprised to see Beam at $7.5 to $10 billion by the end of this cycle. We see Superverse at $700 million. My target, I'm looking for $5 billion market cap, and that would put it right around $10 per token here for a coin like Superverse. And then we see Echelon Prime. This is the ultimate gaming / AI coin in the market. They have the prompt token coming up. People are staking Prime for prompt. And I think some crazy number of percentage of the token supply is locked up for that. So that is a very bullish factor, supply and demand. There's a little bit of a supply shock on the market for Prime tokens. Not as many people have liquid tokens because there's a lot of people staked for this upcoming Wayfinder AI coin, which is called Prompt. And then they also have their upcoming game, the Parallel Colony AI game. So 5% into Super, Prime, and Beam. I think these are no-brainers. If you watch this channel, you know these are my absolute favorite gaming coins. I think you don't have to think twice. You just hold these long-term, let the bull run play out. The amount of action, liquidity, and the results that this shows when the market is up is just unreal. The strength in these coins speaks for itself. So 5% into each, Beam, Super, and Prime. I don't have any 4% allocations in gaming, but I do have 3 projects here that I'm allocating 3% into. We have Ronin, 𝗓, and Zentry. Now, once again, I think these are no-brainers. I actually don't think you have to I have hands-on management with this, just like the 5% position. So let's go through and take a look here. We have Ronin, which is sitting at 700 million, which quite frankly is the #1 gaming blockchain in all of crypto. So you're looking at a coin at 700 million that probably should be multiple billions. I do agree that Ronin is one of the most undervalued coins as far as activity versus valuation. I think it makes no sense. I think Ronin is primed for a crazy bull run and is one I'm willing to allocate 3% of my portfolio into. The next one on this list for 3% allocation is 𝗧𝗍. So 𝗧𝗍 just had another successful, by the way, those tiny Sentry keys are still available. I think the link will still be down below in the description. If you're looking to run 𝗧𝗍 nodes, you can actually jump in and be able to still get involved. I think the price is like $70 or something like that to get involved with the 𝗧𝗍 tiny Sentry keys. First one produced $300 million in rewards for their ecosystem node holders. And now we're seeing 𝗧𝗍 at 230 million market cap, all-time high on this coin is sitting at about $1.55. I think we break this over the course of this bull market. So 𝗧𝗍 is another one I'm very heavy into at 3%. And then Sentry, to me, is another one. It could be my most undervalued circulating market cap in all of crypto. It has quickly become one of my biggest positions as I've just allocated more and more into it. I think their 2025 is going to be insane. I know some of the developments coming up. Their Nexus platform, by the way, I have a Nexus. They have a Nexus, which is like a campaign, a little bit of like an AI agent, social-fi kind of platform. Sentry's been crushing it, and I have allocated 3% of my portfolio here into Ronin, 𝗧𝗍, and Sentry. And then my 2%, we're going to look into, I think this is 5 projects here I've allocated 2% into. We have IMX, so Immutable X, Nakamoto Games, Wilder World, Xborg, and Altura. Now I'm going to pause here really quick for a little bit of logic behind why I've allocated so much into these specific projects. So when we see here, I've allocated 44% into gaming, but within these 3, there's 15%. Within here, that's 24%. Then we have 10 more percent. There's 34% out of my 44% just caught up between 9 projects. But to me, these projects are the ones that A, have shown the most strength in every single rally over the course of the last 12 months, but B, these are majority infrastructures. The only individual game on this whole list is Wild, but Wild has an ecosystem. They have an upcoming blockchain with the Meow chain. They have the open world. They have the first-person shooter. So whenever I'm allocating into these coins, all of these big positions in gaming, while a lot of people FUD gaming, and FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt for anyone who may be getting into crypto, looking to build a portfolio this year, and you hear all these terminologies. So I'm allocating 34% of my portfolio into these 9 projects. But the reasoning for that is because they're infrastructure for the most part. Now, Wilder World is exception. I think they're still one of the top coins in all of crypto gaming, and I am going to keep it that way. But a lot of people doubt gaming because they're like, well, we've seen a lot of games fail. Okay, that's very fair. And games fail in the traditional space. If you look at the amount of games that launch on Steam every single day, that get no activity, that burn money, they fundraise from the crowdfunding platforms out there, and the game just goes to crap on day one. That happens a lot. But in crypto, people really harp on those failures because it's obviously very financialized. People invest in the token, the NFTs, etc. So I'm betting majority on infrastructure. For the reason being, I would rather have Activision, Epic, Riot Games, etc. in my portfolio than have to try to pick the next Fortnite. That's always been the simplest way for me to put it. You're not going to find the next Fortnite in traditional games. That's just not going to happen. Fortnite is here to stay for the long run. While I'm bullish on Off the Grid, MapleStory, Infinigods, and I've invested into all of these platforms and projects. You never know, like things can happen, and especially in blockchain, you do one wrong thing and the whole thing can blow up on you. So I'm investing into the blockchains, the studios, and the distributors because they have so many more games underneath their umbrella. So if one game fails, doesn't really matter. There's 50 more games underneath their ecosystem that have that chance at success. And if one of those games succeed, you're going to see the overall ecosystem of a Beam, a Super, a Ronin, a 𝗧𝗍, etc. start to flourish as a byproduct of that. So that's why I'm so heavy, 34% into these projects, because these are my top conviction infrastructure plays that I think are going nowhere. Like, none of these are going to fold over the next 12 months. And I think what we've seen over the last 12 months, there's some of the strongest projects as far as price movement, as far as volume, liquidity, etc. These are ones I want to have my money into, and I'm putting 34% into these 9 projects. Now, this brings me to another bit of logic. Now I'm allocating into 10 projects for 1% each. Now, you're like, okay, well, that's like nothing. So like, Johnny or Hustle, why are you putting 1% of your portfolio into these projects? So here's the reasoning for this. So that 34% that I just mentioned out of those first projects, all the infrastructure plays that I'm investing into, those projects I deem as no-brainers. I don't really have to worry about them going under. As I mentioned, these are long-term projects that have crazy backing, amazing games building on their platform that are infrastructure. So those, I have no issue just sitting in those at a heavier allocation. But these 10% that I'm about to go over, these are a little more risky, and these are the individual games. So on the flip side of what I just mentioned, I'd rather be heavier allocated into infrastructure in gaming. That is true. But I'm going to take bets on smaller games and on games for smaller positions that could do crazy multiples if they do end up being one of the hottest games of this bull market. So I'm going to unveil these 10 projects, and you're going to understand exactly why these projects could actually end up making my entire portfolio, but it's impossible for them to break my entire portfolio. So for 1% each, I'm allocating 1% into Super Champs, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Seed World, 𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Crown, which is Photo Finish Game, 𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Polis, Play, and Carrot. Now, all of these games, to me, their ecosystems are phenomenal. You have stuff like Super Champs, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Seed World, 𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Crown, 𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, Polis, Carrot. These are all amazing plays. I think their games are great. Their community is lively. Their development has been just fantastic. You want games that are producing updates consistently. Now, when also Play, so the Play network token, that is an infrastructure style play, has a network of games underneath it, but it's a newer launch and a fair launch. So you notice I have 𝗥𝗡𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, I have Super Champs, I have Play, and I also have Seed World in this portfolio because they went with that new approach of a fair launch, all tokens in circulation or DEX only launching, which then gives them the leverage to list on centralized exchanges later on, and that becomes a very bullish event at that time period. But all of these projects are under $100 million fully diluted market cap, every single one of them. And then from that, the 1% I'm allocating into these projects could turn into a 5, 10, 20x on even some of these coins. And then all of a sudden, I just need one of these to be a winner to make up for the other 9 that could do nothing. But I do think all of these are strong plays. I would not include anything in this portfolio that I deem a crazy risk. But when I'm looking at these projects, I think that 34% I'm putting into gaming, while that is my foundation, I think I can make more if this 10% just does a couple of X's on each of these projects. And I think there will be the projects that do crazy numbers. You know, whether that be Super Champs, which has already been crushing it, by the way, whether that be My Pet Hooligan or Crown or 𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Online or 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 all I need is one of these to 5, 10x. It makes up for the rest of my allocations in that 1% bucket. And then anything else from there, my 10% into these projects is taken care of. So that's my logic here. I'm going 10 1% positions in gaming because I'm bullish on every single one of them. And those 1% could actually probably make me more gains if the cycle plays out how I foresee it than the other 34% of my gaming bag. But if I lose this 10%, that 34% of my portfolio in the other gaming coins, and then the rest we're about to get into in other narratives, will easily make up for that 10%. So to me, it is a risk-free way to allocate into, there's risk, obviously, I can't say that's risk-free. in my format of investing, super risk on. I want exposure and I want it now, right? So the 10% I'm putting there, I'm willing to lose that 10%, but that 10% can probably make me more than anything else in this portfolio. Let's move on to chains and L1s. So we've allocated 44% into gaming. Now we have 19% going in to chains and layer ones. Now there are two chains, if you know, you know, but chains and L1s, I'm putting 5% into Ethereum and Sol. This is quite simple. They're the leaders of the market. I truly do think Ethereum, it's shown strength recently. I think Ethereum's the most hated coin, and it's also going to be the coin whenever it rallies like crazy. People are going to hate that as well. I'm bullish ETH. I'm 5% into ETH, 5% into Solana. Look, Solana, it's the best network to use. Plain and simple. It's the best experience to use. It's fast. All the meme coins trade there. The volumes on Solana. That just makes complete sense to me to allocate 5% into Solana. I'm allocating 4% into Avalanche. I'm so bullish on Avalanche. And Avalanche is the one up here that I just think is the catch-up trade. Obviously, will Avalanche flip a Dogecoin or a Solana? Most likely not. But I do think you're going to see this multiply in market cap like crazy. And then when Solana does a couple X's this cycle, Avalanche is going to be sitting at $60 billion, $75 billion market cap. And if we go look at the all-time highs on AVAX around this $140 mark, I think we break those this cycle quite easily. So I'm going 4% into Avalanche. I'm allocating 2% each into TON, the Telegram blockchain, as well as Caspa. Caspa is one of the biggest cults. People call it the Bitcoin of altcoins. I think it's a crazy, I don't know that I agree with it, but Caspa is going to do great numbers this bull cycle, and the strength that it shows when the market is hot is something I want to get behind. So I think Caspa, especially at these levels, if we just go back to my watch list here, we can see Caspa at 11 cents. Yeah, I think Caspa is a very good position to add to your portfolio as of now. And I'm going to put 2% into TON, which I think Telegram narrative will come back. Just like everything. There's Solana season, there's SUI season, there's AVAX season, there's Caspa, there's Tau, AI, all these things have narratives. We even saw a Tron season. So like these things will all happen again. So I'm putting 2% each into TON and Caspa. And then last but not least, people say SUI is the next Solana. I'm not too deep in the SUI trenches, but I also want exposure to the SUI. You know, I want exposure to SUI and its ecosystem. So I'm putting 1% into SUI, and that makes up my 19% going into chains and layer ones. And I think for most people, your portfolio is going to look a lot different. You're probably going to be in Cardano and all this different stuff, which is fine. I'm just a more risk-on investor. I want exposure to things that could go insane this bull run as far as the X's they do. I'll go over half of my portfolio here in the AI, memes, RWA, chains. That's more like majority to me. Those are safer / the riskier AI and meme coins are, a little more degen and risky. But the top part of my gaming portfolio, the chains and L1s, the AIs, I think are sure bets this cycle. So that's where I'm weighing the foundation of this portfolio on, while also taking stabs at, 1% gaming tokens or 1% SUI. They say if this is the next Solana, or if it does what Avalanche or Sol did last cycle, I want to be a part of that. So I'm going to put 1% there into SUI. Moving into AI, I think AI for most people is going to be like the 44% that I have in gaming. But I am so bullish gaming, and I also just think it's so undervalued. Every time gaming is down, people talk so much crap on it, which then just makes the rally up so much sweeter. And I think it is one of the most undervalued sectors, which is why I've put so much of my portfolio there. And it's also the sector that I know most. So for most people, the sector you know most may just be like L1s or L2s, AI, and then you allocate smaller into these other narratives like gaming, memes, RWA. And that makes complete sense, which is why I prefaced at the beginning of this video, This won't be the perfect portfolio for every single viewer that comes across this video, but it gives you a little bit of an outlook on what projects you could allocate into, heavier or lighter, as far as these different narratives, to make sure you have a well-balanced portfolio moving into 2025. Let's get into AI here, which, is going to be one of the most explosive narratives by far. I think if you want a more certain outlook this year, you're betting on AI. Stuff like 𝗏. I'm putting 5% into 𝗏. I think 𝗏 is by far the Bitcoin of AI coins. We talked about how a lot of people call 𝗏𝗂 the Bitcoin of altcoins. I definitely think 𝗏 is the Bitcoin of AI. So I'm putting 5% into 𝗏. I'm putting 3% into render. So I have 17% of my portfolio in AI. But 8% is between the top two projects, in my opinion, which is 𝗏 and render. And I think that is a great way to weigh down that side of my portfolio. Because look, AI is like gaming last cycle. I think AI, you're going to see a lot of teams and a lot of projects fold and capitulate and potentially rug pull after the bull market. So I want to allocate into the ones that are here to stay. And then I'll take risks below that on some lower market cap AI coins. I have allocated 3 projects for 2% of my portfolio. We have GPU, which is Node AI, Neural, which is Neural AI, and Heart, which is Humans AI. And if we go down here and take a look at these market cap ranges of all 3 of these projects, you will start to see we have Node AI at 127 million. We have Humans AI at 173 million. And then Neural AI here at 92 million. So I'm allocating 2% into each of these projects, but the reason being is I think each of these can hit 500 million to $1 billion this cycle, especially when AI is really on fire, right? We just saw the AI agent narrative happen. You're gonna see traditional AI coins have a crazy run. So I'm allocating 6% between GPU, Neural, and Heart. And I think each of those are a 5x at minimum, but a 10x, I think, is possible for every single one of those coins, which would be a major win for my AI portfolio. So that's 14% of my AI allocation within those 5 projects. And then I have 3 projects I'm going to allocate 1% into. These are a little riskier, but to me, I don't really, let's see. I accidentally, there we go. 𝗔𝗥, Neuron, and 𝗘𝗩. So 𝗔𝗥 is one of the biggest KOL tokens in the AI space. And when you go across Twitter, it is crazy how much activity and engagement this gets. So I have 𝗔𝗥 for 1%. Neuron, which is the AI Arena token. NRN, this is infrastructure. It's AI agents. It's a game backed with AI technology. It has everything from an AI perspective that you want, and it's a low market cap. So I'm going to put 1% into Neuron, and I'm also putting 1% into 𝗘𝗩 protocol. 𝗘𝗩 just launched. It's the premier AI project underneath Animoca Brands. I think it's like a $300 million fully diluted market cap right now. I think 𝗘𝗩 protocol is going to go crazy this cycle, and I am holding my 𝗘𝗩 that I have currently from my investments. So 1% into 𝗔𝗥, Neuron, and 𝗘𝗩. So I'm allocating into 𝗏, Render, GPU, Neural, Heart, 𝗔𝗥, Neuron, and 𝗘𝗩 in my AI side of my portfolio. Now, we only have a couple sectors left. If you've enjoyed the content so far, like the video down below and subscribe. We're trying to go on a YouTube bull run alongside this bull market this cycle. So if you're enjoying the content, if you're getting some good strategies out of this portfolio video or projects that maybe are, on your radar, but maybe you're looking to add, but you need a little more conviction in those, let me know in the comments down below how you're structuring your portfolio. Which projects in my portfolio do you have? Which ones do you want to add? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now we have 12% into meme coins. And I'll preface this too. I trade in and out of meme coins very frequently. I'll hear about an exchange listing. I'll hear about some narrative popping up, base narrative, dogs, cats, frogs, whatever the case is, or a TikTok trend like chill guy. I crushed it on chill guy, but at the same time, I don't know that I'm holding chill guy for the long term, right? It's like a TikTok meme. It might not be as prevalent in 2025 as it recently was. So you have to play these narratives correctly. So to me, I only hold a handful of long-term meme coins, but like I said, I'm trading in and out of them based on narratives and things I hear from upcoming listings or whatever the case is pretty frequently. So I'm allocating 4% into each of 𝗏 and 𝗏𝗡. Why these two? Number one, 𝗏𝗡 is the culture coin of crypto. If we just go look at 𝗏𝗡's sitting, healthily at $830 million market cap. Everyone on Twitter loves 𝗏𝗡. The pit vipers on people's PFPs, Elio, K-Money, FaZe Banks. Everyone out there on Twitter loves 𝗏𝗡, and it is one I am going to bet on. As I said, I think this is the culture coin of crypto. So I'm putting 4% into 𝗏𝗡. I'm also putting 4% into 𝗏. 𝗏, to me, is the most undervalued meme coin, but why? Hustle, it's already at a $1.2 billion valuation. How can this be undervalued? Well, if you look at the marketing that Coinbase does, on their tutorials, on their marketing materials, they use 𝗏 as the example coin when they're talking about certain things. On the dashboard, it shows on Coinbase already that 𝗏 is like an example they're using when walking people through tutorials or marketing materials. But if you look, they don't have any tier 1 exchange listings. I think 𝗏, which is the biggest meme on Coinbase's blockchain, is a no-brainer to get a Coinbase listing. And I think they're going to push people towards 𝗏 over other chain-backed memes because they really want to grow the base network over the course of this cycle. They've been saying the speeds are faster than Solana, this and that. I think 𝗏 is the most surefire coin that is going to get a listing on Coinbase over the next few months, and I think that it is one of the most undervalued top tier meme coins for the reason that Base wants people to use their chain, and this is right where this lives. It's the biggest meme on the chain. No brainer play in my opinion. The rest of the 4 that I hold long term are more so just allocated just based off narrative. I have 1% into 𝗏𝗡𝗠, which is another base meme coin, but it's about 1/10 of 𝗏's market cap. So if it ever got a Coinbase listing, this is going to do more X's exponentially than what 𝗏 would if it just got a Coinbase listing. So I have 1% into Mr. 𝗏𝗡𝗠. I have 1% into 𝗏𝗡𝗏. If you haven't seen 𝗏𝗡𝗏's content on Instagram or TikTok, you got to go check this out. Seriously, it is some of the best content, funny content in the meme coin space by far. So 1% into 𝗏𝗏𝗏 on Solana. I'm 1% into 𝗨𝗏𝗏 on Solana. I think 𝗨𝗏𝗏 is far from dead. And then when we see 𝗏𝗏𝗏 have a run, I think you probably see 𝗨𝗏𝗏 go on a big run. I think this also has potential for tier 1 listings. And then 1% into 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I just think 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is another one on Solana. It's undervalued versus Bonk and Whiff, and I just think 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is still more relevant. Like, obviously, Whiff is the most culturally relevant on Solana, but I think 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's got a great narrative behind it, so 1% into 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 there. So my meme coin allocations are 4% into 𝗏 and 𝗏𝗡 each, and then 1% each into 𝗏𝗡𝗠𝗏, 𝗏𝗡𝗏𝗏𝗏, 𝗨𝗏𝗏, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Now, the last 2 sections we have here on this portfolio, RWA and stocks. Now, a lot of people that have gotten this far in the video, like I said, you may not weigh heavily into gaming. You may want to be in L1s and then go smaller into gaming, AI, memes, etc. And that's perfectly fine. But that's exactly what I did here with RWA. My focus, my specialty, things that I've found an edge in this market on are gaming, AI, memes. That's where I get the best information. That's where I have the best resources. That's where I have the best success on my P&Ls, my long-term trades, my short-term trades. So those are the 3 things with a big emphasis on gaming and then AI and memes that I know I'm good at and that I have a specialty in being able to have good info that I can act on and put in profitable trades, right? So those 3 niches for me are going to be the biggest allocated. I'm not including chains and L1s. Those are just serious long-term investments. So for me, RWA, I don't have an edge there. I don't know what's going on in the RWA world. I don't know all the top projects. So for me, I just want one project in my portfolio that covers RWA. So if RWA goes on this crazy run this cycle, which I bet it does, I at least have some allocation. I have 2% allocated into Mantra, the Ohm token. I've been talking about Mantra over the course of 2024 quite a bit. It's been one of the best performers. I'm still holding, and I think whenever you start to see the RWA craze, the Ondos of the world doing numbers, I think Ohm is going to be right there alongside it. And for you guys, like I mentioned, you might not be a gaming specialist. So put 10% of your portfolio into gaming and then way heavier into the things that you're locked in on. Because I can promise you this, in my experience in crypto, I've been investing in crypto since 2017. I've been full-time crypto since 2020. And what I can tell you straight up is if you're trying to catch every single coin, if you're trying to catch every narrative, every pump, switching all these different chains, bridging to this chain, participating, you're going to get burned long term because you don't know what you're doing in every single ecosystem. It's like what the saying is, and I know I'm going to get it wrong by like actual technical word by word perspectives, but a master of all, a jack of all trades is actually a master of none. You want to be a master at a few of these narratives. So you're locked in, you're dialed, and you're able to profit on those at the right times. But if you try to be the DeFi guy, the gaming guy, the AI guy, the meme coin, the sniping, the meme coin sniper, the RWA, you're going to get lost in the weeds. You're going to be chasing narratives. You're going to be selling projects too early. You're going to be holding them too long. You're going to be the one at the end of the cycle that's trend chasing and holding the bag. And that's not what we're looking for. You're looking to allocate into projects that you know and narratives that you know well so you can ride those and profit off them because that's what you're in the trenches doing every single day. And that's why I'm allocated heavy into gaming majority and then AI and memes. And then yes, boo, hustle, stock market. Okay. But at the same time, what we've seen a lot of the course of the market is when the stock market does good, like really good, crypto's kind of just trending sideways. And then when crypto does well, not only does the stock market kind of trend sideways a little bit, sometimes it still goes up at the same time, but the stocks that are associated with crypto crush it when crypto is rising. So it's just a very safe, more regulated way to be able to have exposure into crypto. And my two stocks, I am putting 3% each into these stocks. I think they're pretty obvious what they are. We have Coinbase and MicroStrategy. I just think as the course of this bull run goes, Coinbase is going to be making more money on fees, trading, more users onboarding. Their chain's going to start making more money. So Coinbase stock is the derivative value from that. So I'm betting on Coinbase for 3%. And then MicroStrategy. If we go into a crazy bull run, MicroStrategy's bag of Bitcoin goes way up. They're going to continue riding out this cycle. And if Bitcoin goes to tremendous all-time highs, I think MicroStrategy is going to be one of the biggest winners in the stock market in general for the course of 2025. And that's it, guys. I'm allocating 44% into gaming. I'm going 19% into chains and L1s, 17% into AI, 12% into memes, 2% into RWA, and 6% into stocks. Obviously, this is not financial advice. Like, seriously, I'm allocated into a ton of projects. I'm seed invested into hundreds of projects, okay? My risk tolerance from being in this industry for so long is higher than most people would be able to stomach. So when I'm giving you all of these projects, most people probably should take 10 of these or 15 of these maximum, right? And it's a lot different. Are you playing with $1,000? Are you playing with $10,000? Are you playing with 50,000? Are you playing with $1 million? Like, I don't know your given portfolio size, right? So I'm willing to allocate into more projects because it fits my portfolio, my risk, and my size. Whereas if you're trading with $1,000, I'd pick like 1 or 2 projects, get your feet wet, and then be able to allocate into others as time goes on. So this will never be a one size fits all, but that's what I am looking at heading into 2025. And we'll monitor exactly, at the end of next year, how this plays out, which projects did the best, which ones were complete duds. We'll go over that at the end of the bull market in 2025. But guys, like the video down below, subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed the portfolio video, we have so much more 2025 outlook videos to come for you right here on In the Game. And I'll see you guys on the next one. As always, play well, my friends, and stay bullish, my friends.